Hello and welcome to Healthy Lifestyle Tips. In today's video, we'll be diving deep into the topic of what the human brain is made of. The brain is one of the most complex and intriguing organs in the human body. It's responsible for everything we do, from thinking and feeling to breathing and moving. So, let's explore what makes up this incredible organ. Firstly, the brain is made up of cells called neurons. Neurons are a crucial piece of the puzzle. These specialized cells are responsible for transmitting information throughout the brain and nervous system, allowing us to think, reason, and communicate with the world around us. Neurons are unique in that they have a specialized structure that enables them to communicate with other neurons. Each neuron has a cell body, which contains the nucleus and other important organelles. It also has long, branching structures called dendrites, which receive signals from other neurons. In addition, neurons have a single long structure called an axon, which can be up to a meter long in some cases. The axon carries electrical signals away from the cell body and towards other neurons or muscles. One of the most remarkable things about neurons is their ability to connect with other neurons. Each neuron can connect to thousands of other neurons, forming a vast network of connections throughout the brain. These connections, called synapses, allow neurons to transmit information to each other by releasing chemicals called neurotransmitters. The vast network of neurons in the brain allows us to perform complex tasks such as learning, memory, and decision-making. When we learn something new, for example, new connections are formed between neurons, allowing us to store and retrieve that information later on. Similarly, when we make a decision, different areas of the brain communicate with each other through these networks of neurons to help us make the best choice. It's also important to note that neurons are not static structures. They can change and adapt in response to new experiences or challenges. This ability, known as neuroplasticity, allows the brain to reorganize itself in response to injury or disease, and also plays a role in learning and memory. But neurons are just one part of the brain. The brain is also made up of other types of cells, including glial cells. Glial cells are non-neuronal cells that provide support and protection for neurons. There are several types of glial cells, each with their own unique functions. For example, astrocytes provide structural support for neurons and help to maintain the chemical balance of the brain. Another component of the brain is the cerebrospinal fluid, CSF. The cerebrospinal fluid, CSF, is a crucial component of the brain that surrounds the brain and spinal cord. It is a clear, colorless liquid that plays several essential functions. One of its primary functions is to provide a cushion for the brain, protecting it from injury and shock. This is due to the CSF's ability to absorb shock and distribute it evenly across the brain's surface. Without the CSF's cushioning effect, the brain would be vulnerable to damage from even the slightest impact. Additionally, the CSF helps to remove waste products from the brain. This is because the brain is an incredibly active organ that produces a lot of waste products that need to be removed to maintain proper function. The CSF serves as a pathway for these waste products to be transported out of the brain and into the bloodstream, where they can be eliminated from the body. Moreover, the CSF is also responsible for transporting nutrients and hormones to the brain and spinal cord. This is because the brain and spinal cord require a constant supply of nutrients and hormones to function correctly. The CSF acts as a conduit for these essential substances to be transported from the bloodstream to the brain and spinal cord, ensuring that they receive the nutrients and hormones they need. The human brain can be divided into several distinct regions, each with its own unique structure and function. These regions work together to allow the brain to perform the complex tasks required for daily life. One of the most important regions of the brain is the cerebral cortex. This is the outermost layer of the brain and is responsible for many of the functions we associate with conscious thought and decision-making. The cerebral cortex is divided into 4 lobes, each of which is responsible for different types of processing. The frontal lobe, located at the front of the brain, is responsible for a wide range of functions, including attention, planning, decision-making, and working memory. It is also responsible for our ability to control impulses and make decisions based on social norms and cultural expectations. The parietal lobe, located at the top and back of the brain, is responsible for processing sensory information from the body, such as touch, temperature, and pain. It also plays a crucial role in spatial awareness and our ability to navigate the environment. The temporal lobe, located on the side of the brain, is responsible for processing auditory information and is crucial for our ability to understand language. It is also involved in memory formation and the recognition of familiar objects and faces. The occipital lobe, located at the back of the brain, is responsible for processing visual information. This includes not only the ability to see, but also to recognize objects and interpret visual cues. Another important region of the brain is the cerebellum. This is a small, highly folded structure located at the back of the brain. The cerebellum is responsible for coordinating movement and balance. It receives information from the sensory systems in the body and uses this information to fine-tune movements and ensure that the body remains balanced and upright. The brainstem is the most primitive and essential region of the brain. It is located at the base of the brain and connects the brain to the spinal cord. The brainstem is responsible for controlling many of the body's vital functions, including breathing, heart rate, blood pressure, and digestion. It also plays a crucial role in regulating sleep and wake cycles. Finally, the brain is made up of a complex network of blood vessels. The brain is one of the most energy-intensive organs in the human body. It requires a constant supply of oxygen and glucose to function properly. Without these essential nutrients, the brain would quickly begin to suffer from oxygen deprivation and energy depletion, which can lead to a range of serious health problems. To ensure that the brain receives the oxygen and nutrients it needs, it is surrounded by a complex network of blood vessels. These blood vessels are known as the cerebral vasculature, and they work together to deliver oxygen and nutrients to every part of the brain. The cerebral vasculature is composed of three main types of blood vessels: arteries, veins, and capillaries. Arteries are the largest of these vessels and carry oxygen-rich blood away from the heart and towards the brain. Once the blood reaches the brain, it branches out into smaller and smaller blood vessels, eventually forming a network of tiny capillaries that deliver oxygen and nutrients to individual neurons and other brain cells. As the blood passes through the brain's capillaries, it picks up waste products such as carbon dioxide and lactic acid, which are byproducts of cellular metabolism. The blood then flows back towards the heart through a network of veins, which eventually empty into larger vessels that return the blood to the heart and lungs for oxygenation. It's worth noting that the brain's high energy demands come with a downside. Because the brain requires so much oxygen and glucose, it is also particularly vulnerable to damage from oxygen deprivation and energy depletion. For example, a stroke occurs when blood flow to a part of the brain is disrupted, causing brain cells to die from lack of oxygen and nutrients. So, in conclusion, the human brain is made up of neurons, glial cells, cerebrospinal fluid, distinct regions with unique functions, and a complex network of blood vessels. Each of these components plays a crucial role in allowing the brain to function properly. We hope you found this video informative and interesting. If you did, please consider subscribing to Healthy Lifestyle Tips for more videos like this one. Thank you for watching.